The low hum of the refrigerator was the only sound in the kitchen as I scrubbed the same plate for the third time. It was a Tuesday night, and the house felt too big, too quiet. My wife, Sarah, was away at a week-long nursing conference in Chicago, leaving me, David, the stepdad, holding down the fort with my 18-year-old stepson. Kyle and I had a good relationship, all things considered. It had been a rocky road when Sarah and I first got married 5 years ago. He was 13 then, all sharp elbows and silent treatments, a fortress guarding the memory of his biological father. But we'd found common ground in sci-fi movies and a mutual, bewildered respect for the complexities of Sarah's lasagna recipe. Now he was a good kid, smart, a bit awkward, heading off to State University in the fall. We'd settled into a comfortable, if sometimes quiet, camaraderie. That's why the sound of his frantic footsteps pounding down the stairs was so jarring. He skidded into the kitchen, his face pale, eyes wide with a panic I'd only ever seen before when he'd accidentally backed my car into the mailbox. "David, it's an emergency." I put the plate down. "Whoa, slow down, Kyle. What's going on?" "Is it your mom?" A cold knot tightened in my stomach. No, Mom's fine. It's me." He ran a hand through his already disheveled hair. "Chloe is coming over." Recognition dawned. Chloe was the girl he'd been talking to for weeks. The one who worked at the smoothie place at the mall. The one who, according to his fragmented, excited reports, loved the same obscure graphic novels he did. The one he'd been mustering the courage to ask out. "Okay, that's great, man. But you look like you've just seen a ghost. What's the emergency?" He took a deep, shuddering breath. "We were texting, and we were talking about that new space documentary on Streamflix. And I said we should watch it sometime, and she said, 'How about tonight?' My parents are at their anniversary dinner." He paused, letting the implications hang in the air. "David, she's going to be here in 20 minutes. This is it. This is the night." The night. I understood now. This wasn't just a casual hangout. In the mind of an 8-year-old boy, this was a high-stakes operation, a pivotal life moment fraught with potential for glory or catastrophic failure. "Okay," I said, keeping my voice calm and neutral. "So you'll watch the documentary?" "That's good." "David, come on," he pleaded, his voice dropping to a whisper. "You know what this is. It's my first time. Or it could be. I've never. I don't know what I'm doing." The sheer, raw vulnerability in his confession hit me square in the chest. He wasn't just asking for the house to be empty. He was asking for help, and the only way a teenage boy knows how by declaring a state of emergency. "All right," I said, slipping into problem-solving mode. It was easier than navigating the emotional minefield. "First things first, the house. I'll make myself scarce. I can go see a movie, grab a coffee, no problem." "No. I mean, that's good, but..." He looked down at his worn sneakers. "What if something goes wrong? What if I don't know, say something stupid? What do I do? What do I have?" The last word was barely audible, and then it clicked. He wasn't just worried about his conversational skills or the cleanliness of his room. He was worried about being responsible, about protection. A wave of paternal responsibility, sharp and clear, washed over me. This was one of those moments, the kind his biological father should have been here for. But he wasn't. I was. Sarah was hundreds of miles away. It was on me. "Right," I said, my voice firm. "Okay, stay here." I walked into the half bathroom under the stairs, the one we rarely used, and opened the mirrored cabinet. Tucked behind a half-empty bottle of mouthwash and a vast collection of hotel-sized shampoos was a small, unopened box. I'd bought it a lifetime ago, before Sarah and I had decided we were happy with our party of 3. I brought it back to the kitchen and slid it across the island counter to him. His eyes widened as he looked at it, then back at me, a mixture of horror and profound gratitude on his face. Oh man, thanks. Thanks. Look, Kyle, I said, leaning against the counter. This is important. Being safe is the #1 priority. No exceptions. You understand? He nodded vigorously, pocketing the box as if it were radioactive. Yes, absolutely. Good. Now, other stuff. You need to set the mood a little. Not with cheesy music, just clean your room. Seriously. Get the dirty laundry off the floor. Make your bed. Light one of those cinnamon candles your mom has stashed somewhere. It makes a difference. He was already moving, a soldier receiving orders. Okay, clean room, candle. Got it, and snacks. I called after him. Don't just offer her water. I bought those fancy sodas and the sea salt caramel popcorn. Bring a bowl up. It's thoughtful. He gave me a thumbs up from the hallway and thundered back upstairs. I heard the frantic sounds of tidying commence. I set about my own tasks, becoming the stealth support staff. I fluffed the couch pillows, wiped down the kitchen counters, and made sure the downstairs bathroom was spotless. I placed the popcorn and sodas on the counter for easy access. I was the stage manager for my stepson's debutante ball. 15 minutes later, he came back down. He changed into a clean shirt, and his room, he assured me, was habitable. The doorbell rang, the chime echoing through the suddenly silent house. Kyle looked at me, his eyes wide with terror. You got this, I said quietly, giving his shoulder a firm squeeze. Just be yourself. She's here to see you, remember that. I retreated to my home office, a small room just off the living room, and closed the door most of the way, leaving just a crack. My plan was to wait until I heard them go upstairs, then slip out the front door and disappear for a few hours. I fired up my computer, the blue light illuminating the dark room, and tried to focus on some work emails. I could hear the low murmur of their voices in the living room. It sounded normal, pleasant. After about 20 minutes, I heard them head upstairs, their footsteps creaking on the old wooden steps. Okay, David, I thought. Time for your exit. I stood up, grabbed my keys and wallet, and took a careful step into the hallway. And that's when I heard it. A sudden, sharp, high-pitched shriek from upstairs. It wasn't a shriek of pleasure. It was a shriek of pure, unadulterated terror. My blood ran cold. Every horrible, unimaginable scenario flashed through my mind in an instant. I took the stairs 2 at a time, my heart hammering against my ribs. Kyle, everything okay? I burst into his room without knocking. The scene was chaotic. Chloe was standing on Kyle's desk chair, pointing a trembling finger at the corner of the room near the closet. Kyle was frozen in place, holding a textbook like a shield. And scurrying along the baseboard was the largest, hairiest, most audacious spider I had ever seen outside of a zoo. It came out from under my bed. Kyle yelled, his voice an octave higher than usual. It's a monster. Chloe let out another little scream as the spider changed direction. Kill it, please kill it. The spider, as if understanding its role in this tragedy, chose that moment to make a dash for the perceived safety of the closet, scurrying right over the toe of Kyle's sneaker. Kyle yelped and jumped backward, tripping over a pile of graphic novels and landing on the floor with a thud dot in that moment. All the tension, the anticipation, the weight of the first time evaporated. The mighty hunter had been felled by an arachnid. Chloe, from her perch on the chair, let out a snort, then clapped a hand over her mouth. Her shoulders started to shake. A second later, a giggle escaped. Then Kyle, from his undignified position on the floor, started to chuckle. It was a weak, embarrassed sound at first, but then it grew, fed by the sheer absurdity of it all. Soon, they were both laughing hard, The kind of breathless, helpless laughter that makes your stomach hurt. I walked over to the closet, grabbed one of Kyle's size 12 sneakers, and with a single, decisive thwack, ended the spider's reign of terror. I disposed of the evidence with a tissue. The coast is clear, I said, trying and failing to keep a straight face. Kyle got to his feet, his face bright red, but he was still smiling. Chloe climbed down from the chair, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes. I am so sorry, she said between giggles. I have such a huge phobia of spiders. Join the club, Kyle said, rubbing his elbow. You should have seen me when I found one in the shower last month. I think the neighbors heard me. The mood had completely shattered, but in the best possible way. The performative pressure was gone, replaced by a shared, silly secret. I'm, gonna head out, I said, edging toward the door. You kids have fun with your documentary. I didn't go to a movie. I drove to the nearby park and sat on a bench, giving them a solid 2 hours. When I got back, the house was quiet. The popcorn bowl was in the sink, rinsed out. 2 empty soda bottles were in the recycling bin. I crept upstairs and saw a sliver of light under Kyle's door. I paused, listening. I heard the low, resonant voice of a documentary narrator. They were watching the space film the next morning. I came down to find Kyle already in the kitchen, making toast. He looked tired but relaxed. So, I said, pouring myself a coffee. How'd it go? After the uninvited guest was removed, he smiled a little sheepishly. It was good. Really good, actually. We just watched the movie and talked. She stayed until like 11. It was less stressful after the spider thing. I bet, I said, sipping my coffee. Sometimes the best laid plans need a little interruption. He nodded, buttering high.